Just a simple question.
Yep.
Have you ever had a bad boss, and why were they bad?
Yeah, I have. When I was working at Nike, we were like literally like a factory outlet, right? So we would just be giving people shoes and all that stuff. But we opened the store, and I remember there was this one boss, and he was the operations guy. And he was kind of a bit of a rules guy, like always trying to like make sure everything ran correctly and all of that. And then there was another guy where he was like so much fun, and I just loved his personality and his energy. But when I needed time off, or when the scheduling was done and it was done by the fun kind of boss that I thought I loved, he would always just forget stuff. Like I requested this, and the boss that I thought was kind of like more mean and not as fun, he was so reliable when it came to like scheduling, and he listened and he gave you opportunities to grow. And so I think my idea of what a good and bad boss was as a 16, 17-year-old was completely off. Mm-hmm. You want someone that you can respect. Like hopefully you like them. But I think when it comes down to being in leadership, the most important thing is, are you worthy of people's respect? And are you asking people to do things that you're not willing to do yourself? And so a bad boss to me is one who hasn't done the actual work and does not look out for you and give you the things that you need to be successful. The obvious things as well is he was just irresponsible. Mm-hmm. And it's just unacceptable in business to not be organized and to not be on your game. So yeah, I think my favorite personality at first became my least favorite boss. And the guy I was like, man, he's always such a stickler and such a hardhead. He turned out being the absolute best boss.
Okay, so if like in the position as a boss yourself,
mm-hmm. Yes.
What do you think makes a good boss?
So I'm fairly lucky because all of our team were partners.
Yeah.
And maybe in one area, I take the lead. When it comes to other areas, Kristoffer, Neighbor, and even Mustafa and Tom, when we were working together more closely, that they would take the lead. But I think the most important thing for me is that I really tell the truth to my team. There's times where, because we have a relationship outside of our work, where I may not want to hurt their feelings or say something that they didn't do that was right. But that's not really about them at all. That's really about me and not wanting to deal with any negative response. But that's not fair.
Rock the boat.
You got it, right? Because I'm working with people who want to be excellent. We are on the same page. And if I'm not honest with them about the feedback and the work they've done and all of that, why would they ever trust me or respect me? Mm-hmm. And here's the crazy thing. I have a team that wants feedback. They want to get better. I have never, Kristoffer, he's just off camera there, our creative director. We have never had a fight. What are we going to fight about? 10 years. If I tell him that in this area, you'll need to be better, he's like, in this area, I need to be better. And he actually does the work to become better.
I love that.
It's just wonderful. So we have a very high...
Shout out to Kristoffer.
Shout out to Kristoffer. How come I didn't get a dance like that?
I don't know you. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. And then Bradley as well, because Bradley's been with you for years.
Yeah.
And I was equally as excited to see him today as I was, because I haven't seen him in so long. So you and your leadership, you now have a team in the States, and you're physically not present for all of the things that you're doing now. What has that been like, where for years you know that nothing goes out without you having seen it, to now where you have to rely on other people to get things done?
Well, I think it's about empowering people. So if that's for me, like, you know, people often say to me, like, I can't be like you, Amber. And I'm like, absolutely, yes, you can, because I was no one.
Okay.
So I think it's about trying to get people to the level of that delusional, you know, belief that they can do anything that I can do, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, I love that.
And then just still being there for support to check, like, even though I might not be physically there, I'm only a FaceTime call away to check to make sure that they can do it. So it's just giving that encouragement and then saying, yeah, you did a great job. But I think the challenge as a boss, like you said, is just like telling your employee that maybe they didn't do something perfectly and trying to not tear their, you know, confidence down. That's like a hard balance.
It is hard.
And I'm still learning how to do that, to be honest. It's not the easiest thing, but it's something that I'm constantly striving for, because before I started Amber Walker Events, I had simply a really bad boss.
Oh, okay.
And while I learned lots, it was a very like aggressive environment where honestly I was always being torn down and I was being micromanaged.
So yeah, that's horrible. That wouldn't work.
So it didn't work. So I think for me, whether someone's my employee or it's a vendor I hire, someone's like, I have like an audiovisual company that'll be like, Amber, do you want it like this? Do you want it like this? And I'm like, I hired you. What do you think?
Absolutely.
And then they'll be like, well, I like this. And I'm like, great. I like that too. Because I'm an event planner. I am surrounding myself with the best. You know what you're doing the best.
It's so crazy. I'll let you in a little bit on my daily experience here, right? So not only do I have my workout regime and eating healthy and all of that, I also try to get my steps in every day. Ooh. But I spend so much time at my desk, it's kind of hard to get my steps in. Yeah. So when I go grocery shopping, I park like as far away as possible. And then I like wheel my little cart to my car, put my groceries in. I wheel it back to like the cart collection that's furthest away, then back to my car. Right. And so when I was doing this the other day, there was this guy and he looked a black dude, maybe about mid-30s, and he was on the phone and he was talking to someone. So I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but there's no one else around. So I'm like listening. And he said, okay, so then you want us to get to the lockbox and then open it and then get onto the property. And then the other person said something. Then he said, okay, so you want us to leave as soon as possible when we are done with that job. And I was thinking to myself, you could have phrased that so differently and been an absolute boss. Like everything about what you're saying is like you want this other person to think for you. But what if you just said, send me the lockbox details, I'm on the way.
Yeah.
You would add like 25% to your salary because you are someone who's not just needing to be led, but you're someone who's taking initiative.
Taking charge.
Being
a boss.
But it was so crazy because he just kept asking questions as if he was suggesting the work he should do. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, big, strapping, good-looking dude. I'm like, bro, handle it. Because if you're asking the person you're talking to think for you, then you don't have any leverage. Right? But if you're just solving problems, like literally, this is how you get paid, all right? If anyone wants to make more money, this is how you get paid.
Okay.
Solve the biggest problem you can find. You get paid in proportion to the problem that you solve. So if you can be replaced instantly, you have no leverage.
Completely agree.
But if you are someone who, look, I see something and I can make it happen, maybe like Amber, you're going to have to work for years and years and not get paid for anything. But eventually, the work you do, it starts to work on you and you get better. And that's the ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. Not making money, not having status, but being the best you can be.
But you know what? Going back to what I was saying before, on the other end of that conversation or that person on the phone, a boss could have not been empowering their employee
100%.
To be that person.
100%.
So now they're like scared to make any decisions at all.
I'm so glad you said that.
So like it's like take the training wheels off, encourage your employee, which is going to be so uncomfortable for them at while. Yeah, they're actually going to be like, but you're not helping me. And I had this conversation with Bradley all the time. Shout out to Bradley. We love him.
We do love Bradley.
I say to Bradley, let's go. You can do it. And he's like, I'm not you, Amber. I said, you have every skill to do what I can do. I see you do it all the time.
Absolutely.
And it's just like it's my job to empower my employees. That's my biggest strength because I can't be everywhere at once.
It's so true.
You know,
so true.
As a boss, that's
It's amazing what encouragement can do.